Okay, so if you've been following my channel, you'll remember that a few weeks ago, I told you that I'm speaking with a current user of SkyWise. SkyWise being essentially Foundry, developed by Palantir and actually used by Airbus and its actual airlines that use its airplanes. Essentially, I was speaking to a guy who was using it daily and told me phenomenal things about it. And I told you that I asked for an actual data, some case studies, some interesting examples from him so I can show you guys. Now, he doesn't want to come forward, obviously, because he wasn't supposed to share this with me, but we still got it. So I think it will be a great opportunity to learn more about Palantir, about SkyWise, and about how Foundry really works, because in essence, SkyWise is just Foundry for airlines. Check it out. So first of all, this is quite interesting, and I did not know this. So SkyWise and Palantir actually started working on this in 2015 when they were making the A350. Now, the result was 33% acceleration in A350 production. Now, just to be clear, we're talking about a $320 million plane. Increasing production by 33% is major. But let's look at some other numbers because this is just the beginning. I'm not an engineer and my understanding is very limited, but just based on the few examples I'm about to show you right now, this is revolutionary stuff. And this is, of course, from a person that's inside the system. From what I gather, it seems legitimate. It doesn't seem fake. It doesn't seem like a hoax. I have a lot of documents. I'm going to be making a few videos, but this is just the initial taste of the few things I saw, which are mind-blowing. And I want to share with you just a piece of our conversation because this made me laugh legitimately. He said, this may be a little too techy for you. For me, it makes me drool because I understand exactly what they're talking about. Anyway, feel free to pick out anything if you ever wish to share it. So obviously I have his permission to share it, and we're not going to put out anything proprietary here or anything illegal, but this is definitely not publicly available stuff. This comes straight from the inside. So let me show you. First of all, we have this. Let me show you this. So first of all, let's read this one because this is fascinating. Example below, a sensor which when it fails grounds the aircraft. Not having the sensor data, we can see fault coming before full failure, and they can monitor right away the fix if the fix is successful in real time. This is the actual slide he sent me, and as you can see right here, they can see the sensor behaving erratically here and here, which basically prompts the fix before it grounds the aircraft. And then as you can see right here, after the fix, they replace the sensor and then the readings become normal again. So the system pre-identifies a possible catastrophic failure, they prevent it by replacing the part, and then they actually monitor to see if the fix is successful. Now, this is just the beginning. Let me show you some more stuff. This is an example of a component on the engine that cools the engine by porting cold fuel from the wings through air oil heat exchanger, whatever the hell that means. I'm not an engineer, so for me, it's definitely mumbo jumbo. If this component fails and doesn't cool properly, it can lead to significant engine issues and a big increase in fuel consumption. That part I understand. Increase in fuel consumption means money, and money I understand. So let's check it out because this is also very interesting. Right here, they'll show you the case study, how they do it. They basically monitor the actual oil temperature. So once I think the oil cooling system, the temperature goes up, what happens is they identify there's an issue. Let's read about it a little bit. Challenge. The fuel return valve cools the engine and IDG oil by fuel circulation. In case there's an issue, the engine thrust increases to compensate for that, which results in a higher fuel consumption. That means money. So basically, when the system doesn't function properly, it increases the fuel consumption of the engine. Nothing's going to crash the plane or ground the plane, but just costing you more money without you knowing it. That's the equivalent of having a leak in your faucet that you can barely hear or see, but it's costing you money. Now, the solution, the SkyWise predictive algorithm monitoring the system, raises an alert when the temperature goes above a certain threshold, which they defined. And then the solution is to actually to replace it. And look at this. On one aircraft, they had it for 2 years on engine 1 and 1 year on engine 2. We estimated that this issue cost the airline $75,000 due to higher fuel consumption on this aircraft. So just for one aircraft, talking about $75,000. Imagine 10% of the fleet bleeding money and you not knowing about it. So doesn't sound like a lot of money, but trust me, airlines operate on thin margin. That means a lot. Below is an IDG, integrated drive generator, whatever that means, mounted. And by the way, if there's any engineers that can vet this in the comments, I'd appreciate it. Mounted to the engine turbine. When the engine pins, it spins the generator which provides power to the aircraft. Known to fail on aircraft from time to time. There's no real monitoring of it currently, but using predictive Foundry software with AI, they can monitor everything from extract temps to pressure, clog filter, warnings, frequency oscillations. And as you can see, the cost of a minor repair, which is when it fully breaks, is huge. $462,000. That's just one IDG. Each engine has one. Combine it across a big fleet of aircraft. That's the real money. Now we're talking massive stuff. So this is the actual part. I think the IDG cost $500,000. Overhaul repair cost $57,000. 12 events involving IDG. IDG overhaul repair $684,000. Now this is the after implementation. Basically, minor repair cost. That's the preventative one. $18,500. 12 events. $200,000, $222,000. So basically, they saved the airline $462,000 per year to preventative minor fix shit that actually otherwise cost you $684,000. So 222 from 684. That means a lot of money for an airline. Their margins are razor thin. One more, and then we'll let you guys go. Below is a twin motor valve on an engine that gives fuel supply. Basically, there are no faults given, but you can see increased operation time, and the pink line is the threshold manually set within Foundry to give alerts before the aircraft actually sees failure. Again, another preventative stuff, right? The component was changed and uptime instantly dropped down to normal levels. Preventing engines from shutting down is a pretty big increase in safety. This is not even about the money. It's about safety. It's about not letting airplanes crash. And this is the actual slide. The effects of a misbehaving twin motor actuator can lead to incorrect valve operation, affecting engine fuel supply control, and in some circumstances, engine shutdown shortly after starting. Historically, these component failures have often turned into flight cancellation. That means a lot of money. Flight cancellations, it means hotels, airplanes on the ground. It means a lot of money. So basically, a predictive maintenance work order was raised to replace the number one engine twin motor actuator on July 2nd, 2019. The twin motor actuator operation time immediately returned below threshold limit with no further threshold breaches on crew reports. Now, I have more information here. I have 2 slides I absolutely want to show you. Now, this is something I did not know, to be honest. This is news to me, that SkyWise is offered by Airbus at no cost. So essentially, SkyWise is being paid by Airbus and the airlines can use it for free. Essentially, Airbus is subsidizing this for the airlines to use because it enjoys the data so much. You think Airbus would have been paying for this if it was not so dramatically important for the improvement of the safety, the financial capabilities, and the operational capabilities of its planes? Now, this slide is a little bit abstract, but it's really important because it shows what actually the goals are, the stated goals are. So, SkyWise decreases cost by reducing delays, preventing unnecessary removals, reducing stock levels. Reducing stock levels meaning that you don't hold as much stock as you used to because you just don't need as much based on data that you actually analyzed. It's covering in-warrant part removals and more. SkyWise increases speed through man-hours saved in avoiding manual and repetitive tasks that are not necessary. SkyWise improves decision-making through unprecedented visibility into data and the new insights drawn from integrated data and comparison to the worldwide fleet. Now, this is very interesting. So these are some of the results from their test cases. Alerts created and corresponding maintenance actions in SkyWise contributed to 36 less AOGs. AOGs means airlines on the ground. Annually, 6% reduction. Do you know what it means for an airline? A 6% AOG reduction and 1.5 million in savings. Yes, that's what it means. 1.5 million for a 300 aircraft fleet regional carrier. For that carrier, 1.5 million savings per year over nothing but analyzing your data better. It's a lot. But wait, there's more. By integrating a full fleet historical data to accurately calculate center of gravity target, one airline unlocked savings of $850,000 over a 5-month period on a Boeing 777 fleet alone. So you can see here, the SkyWise system, which is actually being offered by Airbus, is also being used by the clients to analyze Boeing data. That is insane. That part I didn't know, because this B777 means Boeing 777. That is massive. That's just hidden in there, this little gem. Because, I mean, imagine all the carriers that have Boeings and Airbus, the mixed fleets. I mean, that means a lot. Number 3, SkyWise helps one flagship regional carrier tackle chronic, I'm guessing this is audio video on demand, I mean the little screens, issues leading to estimated 2 million per year in savings on passenger compensation. So this is actually quite serious. Imagine getting on a plane and then all of a sudden your 8-hour plane is without a TV, without movie, without music, without nothing, because the screen in front of you doesn't work. Obviously, you're going to get compensated. So it seems like this regional carrier was paying 2 million per year these compensations because shit would break down. SkyWise actually predicted it and helped them avoid it by replacing parts before they break down, saving them 2 million per year on nothing but not having audio video breakdowns. The simplicity of elegance here is just wild to me. This is really good. A regional carrier used SkyWise to identify an excess of supply and take action, which resulted in a 10% reduction in minimum stock levels. And actually, they learned that they can hold much less based on the data that they got from the software, 84 million in capital. One flagship regional carrier discovered the in-warrant removal of 769 million in part value and 21 million in labor value that had gone unclaimed before SkyWise. This is massive. By using SkyWise to look at historical data, one airline determined that at part should be reset instead of removed, which prevented 15% unnecessary removals for this part per year. An operational engineer was able to identify a problem worth $12 million per year by leveraging SkyWise data integration, analysis, and modeling environment to confirm his hypothesis that they were overfueling. One low-cost carrier was able to delay a flight that put 7 passengers in risk of missing connections instead of 140. For the first time, a regional carrier has visibility into AOG driving factors, airplanes on the ground, and is using this insight to design maintenance technician training programs and inventory management schemes that accelerate AOG recovery, meaning getting planes off the ground as fast as possible. Comparing liability to the worldwide fleet's SkyWise liability services gives airlines insight into which problem areas are worth pursuing. That's the power of mass knowledge. Okay, so this is very interesting. These are the areas where SkyWise actually makes an impact. Maintenance optimization, engineering reliability and alerting, automated reporting, SkyWise reliability services, inventory management, flight safety investigation, cabin defect management, warranty claim management, turnaround time analysis, fuel consumption visibility. These are critical issues, every single one of them. And as you can see, there's a lot more where this came from. I have a lot more of these, which I'll show in the next couple of videos. But just for today, I think that's enough. It kind of gives you an actual explanation of what exactly Palantir does, because one of the main criticisms you hear from people who kind of hate on the company is that, well, y'all don't understand what they even do. Well, here's a prime example of what Foundry does. Not the government stuff, Foundry. And by the way, Foundry, based on the slides I've already seen, which I'm going to show you in the next couple of videos, it's a brand new product. They actually developed it along with Airbus just a few years ago. It hasn't been launched for a few years. It's only out for a couple of years, and it's revolutionizing the way airlines actually make money. This thing is huge. I hope you enjoyed this video. No fluff today, no introductions. By the way, everything I just said here is just my opinion. Might be wrong, might be inaccurate, might be the ramblings of a madman. You got to do your own research. Allegedly, blah, blah, mother effing blah. Thank you for the channel members. Thank you for the Patreons. We'll see you guys in the next video.